Hello, everyone. This is my slideshow, Escape from Reality. My name is Ryan Manzi, and this is for JTC 326 Online Storytelling. So, to begin the story, let me tell you about who I am. My name is Ryan Manzi. I'm 21 years old and was born on October 31st, 2001. I was quite shy growing up, and am less now, but still an introvert, but I didn't have a ton of friends growing up. I grew up with only a mom because my dad was a donor, and my mom worked very hard and tried her best to entertain me, but I found reality quite predictable, boring, and repetitive as a kid. And because of this, I didn't have a lot of passions and didn't do that great in school growing up until I found a way to escape reality through a hobby. This hobby was gaming. Um, as I said, it started off as a hobby. The first two consoles I ever had was I had a handheld console, a Game Boy, and then my first at-home console was a Wii. Both pictures are presented here on this slide. But these to me were an entertainment. There's something to kill time that I slowly got more and more invested into, and a part of that was because it was a huge social space for me. Not only was I becoming a little less shy and a little more talkative um, with people in the games I was playing with, but I was also able to talk about games that I was playing with kids at school who were playing the same games as me, and it was a way for me to connect with people. It was also kind of like a second life. I really got connected with the characters in the game and the worlds I was playing, and it was like in an exciting, less predictable life than as I felt the boring, repetitive cycle of um, normal day to day life was a kid. Go to school, go home, eat, sleep, repeat. It later turned into a job, a sort of job. I made money off of streaming and uploading YouTube videos of me playing games online for multiple years. I don't do it as much anymore, but want to get back into it. I'm just more focused on school at the moment. But gaming when I was little, as I wasn't too into school, taught me a lot. You'd be surprised how much you can learn from playing a lot of games. They teach you a ton of amazing skills and were a big part of my education as a kid as well. And overall, it was this an escape from reality to me. Moving on, overall, I fell in love with stories that were being told in these games. I fell in love with the stories that were told in the game. I fell in love with the stories of the worlds I was traveling to in the game. And I also fell in love with the stories of others I was playing the games with. This led me to enjoy storytelling and stories in other forms of media, such as I fell in love with reading, I fell in love with movies and TV, I fell in love with following other stories. And other stories, I mean, like stories of friends and even like celebrities or like sport. I really enjoy sports like the NBA. I love following players in sports, and it was just a way for me to really I just really started appreciating other people's stories. And this led me to realize that I wanted to maybe get into journalism. And since I've started my journalism major at CSU, I fell in love with reporting and hearing other people's stories. I fell more in love with school. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really into school when I was little because I didn't have a passion. But since I've been at CSU, I've had almost straight A's. I also fell in love with social media, kind of what I mentioned earlier, this sharing my own stories, but also following other people's stories on social media. I fell in love with news writing and the importance of stories, and I fell in love with storytelling in general. So, what started as a hobby, gaming, which was an escape from reality for me, was actually just who I was all along, which was someone who loves stories and has the urge to share them. So, thank you for hearing this presentation um, about my life and how a hobby that was just an escape from reality for me led me to become the person I am today.